That's a pretty poignant name you have there on your Facebook profile there, Matahari. Yeah. It kind of, I'm not trying to make a straw man argument or an ad hominem argument, rather. I'm not trying to make an ad hominem against you here, but it does kind of give some clues of a person's worldview when they choose a Facebook pseudonym that is the name of a call girl, prostitute, stripper, and believed to be German spy. So that kind of tells me kind of the worldview and the moral dispensation I'm looking at when I'm talking to somebody who says, hey, I'm going to choose the name of a stripper, hooker, and spy. But that's neither here nor there as far as the actual argument goes. So you say that your argument is not that adults should be held responsible for their actions, but then you turn around and you start giving reasons to excuse women who end up in prison. I mean, that would be like me saying, I don't believe that you should drink water, and then I start drinking water. Just because I say that that's not what I believe doesn't mean that that's not what I believe if my actions show that I believe it, right? That'd be like, I've been married for almost 5 years, right? Wouldn't make sense for me to say, I don't believe that it's okay for husbands to cheat on their wife if I'm cheating on my wife, right? That wouldn't make sense. Or, if I said, I believe that it's morally wrong for a man to cheat on his wife, but then I start making excuses and justifications for men who cheat on their wives. See, it would be difficult for me to really say that that wasn't my argument. But that is what you typed out. Note that's not my argument, but it actually is your argument. Because then you go on with some fictitious, mythological situation of what would you do if someone held a gun to your head and said, you better rob that liquor store, I'm going to kill you. Or you better come out that room with some cash and all that kind of stuff. Well, I'm going to kill you. I mean, we could make up any kind of scenario. But the question will still remain. Because, what would I do? I would do what was morally correct. That's what I would do. That's what I would do. And what's morally correct is not always in line with the law. Abortion is a case in point of it. That's an immoral act that's legal. So the law doesn't always define what's morally correct, but I would do what was morally correct. See, that's what I would do. But let's say I didn't. Let's say I went with your implication that I would want to say, oh, no, please don't shoot me. I'll go commit a felony if you won't shoot me. And I went and committed the felony. You know what just happened? I made a decision. If I did that, I would have made the decision to commit a felony. I may have reasons for committing the felony, right? Everyone who's a felon has reasons they committed a felony. Every one of them. Even the ones that just woke up one morning and said, hey, I'm going to go, sell drugs, or I'm going to go rob a liquor store, like you said. I mean, that guy, he has reasons why he did it. Okay? So if that's what is happening to women, which is very rare, but if that's what's happening to women, they're still making the decision to commit the crime. So as such, they're responsible for their decisions. They're responsible for the consequences of their decision. Would it be unfortunate? Well, sure. But they're still responsible for their decisions. Okay? With the socioeconomic level that I grew up in and spent a good bit of my early life in, I know a significant number of felons, male and female alike. And in my little world, that was not the case. So understand what you're trying to do. You're trying to portray these female felons as just ultimate victims. And their life situations is what put them in that situation. They're what'd you say it, the facts and stats and circumstances. I don't know. What all those excuses just eventually they just seem to run together for me. So those justifications, that put them, no, what put them anywhere was their own decisions. There's plenty of people out there that are poor and abused and mistreated and those sorts of things that aren't committing felonies. So they chose to commit the felony. They got caught. They got sentenced. Responsibility for their actions. Because for just as many women as you can point to that might fit into a situation just like that, you can go right across the road or down the road or to the other side of the prison complex or whatever, and you can find men who had the same circumstances to one extent or another, that they felt like they didn't have any other choice. They didn't have any other direction to go in. If nothing else, you can find men who will at least say they did. See? So what's the difference? They have to stand up for their crime and be accountable for their decision. Why not the woman? Why should the woman get some special excuse or consideration? Because, what did you say right here? Let me see if I can see. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, see, because I'm old. Let me see here. Let me make sure I can see it. Oh, yeah. 5'1" and 100 pounds. Okay, so because they're 5'1" and 100 pounds, somehow or another, they should get some special provision and understanding so that they're not punished. So they're short, so that means that they're not an adult. I mean, if women are that susceptible to being pressured and bullied and coerced, into committing felonies, some 6'1", 225-pound man that just brainwashed her or something and just bullied her into committing a felony, if that situation is widespread enough for you to actually be making this damn argument with me, well, it sounds to me like we need to put laws and programs in place to where women can't be out in public without their husband, their brother, their father, something like that, some sort of a guardian with them to protect him from the big bad man who's out there wanting to just kidnap them or snatch them up or wanting to beat on them or brainwash them into going and being a life of crime. I mean, that's basically what you're saying, Mata Hari, is that this is such a big deal that women are getting put in situations where who's putting them there? They're putting themselves there most of the time. They don't come at me about rough childhoods and bad parenting and growing up in the hood. I know all about that. I've experienced a good bit of that personally. I ain't go to prison. I mean, so because that's a woman, you and the rest of society want to treat her like she's just a pretty little flower, and how could anything so pretty and female be evil? How could they be evil? Say, oh, it's just a girl. Don't talk bad about the little girl. Oh, but it's a little girl. Ain't she cute? No, she's not one of them big, smelly, loud, dirty boys that are out there and inherently evil. It's the men that are predators, not the little girls. Because they're female, you want to just be gentle on her. Well, she didn't mean to be bad. You think of her like she's Jessica Rabbit off of Who Framed Roger Rabbit when she said, I'm not really evil. I'm just drawn this way. So because she's a woman, she's not really evil. She just grew up in the hood, or she grew up poor, or she made a bad decision and she got hooked up with some man who just forced her into it against her. Clark, whatever will I do? Well, frankly, my dear, I don't really give a damn. That's about the size of it. If women are full-grown equal adults like you hear about every time you turn on the damn news, if they're full-grown equal adults equal with men, then they need to stand up and take the consequences of their decisions like a full-grown adult equal to men. And quit with all it is, but she's so little, and she's so weak, and she was bullied and manipulated and schemed and blah, blah, wah. Nope. Can't have it both ways. Either women are 100% equal to men, or they're the lesser vessel. And if they're the lesser vessel, then we need to repeal the 19th Amendment, because why are we letting women who are so easily manipulated by men and so easily bullied and intimidated by men, why are we letting them pick the president? I mean, if she could be coerced into going in there and holding up a liquor store, don't you reckon she could be even more easily coerced into going in there and casting the vote that somebody else wanted her to cast a vote for? So let's get rid of the 19th Amendment, right? I mean, let's get rid of no-fault divorce. Because if women are that easily manipulated and brainwashed and all that sort of whatever to go, rob somebody's house or steal their car, how easily do you think they are to be manipulated around by some scheming dude into wrecking their own home when they wake up one morning and decide, well, I'm just not happy, so I think I'm going to get divorced? I mean, why are we letting them live in apartments all by themselves if they're not adults, if they're not full-blown responsible adults? No, what it is, obviously you, and people that agree with you, they think women should be able to run around living the adult life, but do it without the adult consequences for their action. And that just ain't reality. If they're not equal to men, including their maturity and accountability, then we need to get rid of all this feminine and equal opportunity for women. And we need to just come on out and say it. Well, they're a lot easier manipulated. Their emotions are a lot more easily controlled. They're not as stoic as men are, so they can be compelled by evil people to do evil things. So just like children, just like minors, we need to keep them with a guardian to make sure that they're not controlled and bullied and coerced and forced into committing felonies. I don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. I believe women deserve equal rights. But if we're going to give them equal rights, they need equal accountability. And we need to stop all of this poor little girl, she didn't really mean to. The devil made me do it stuff. Okay? I hope you understand what I'm saying. And if you don't, I don't know what else to tell you. But as for me, I am happy. Can't tell you how happy I am. So you're talking about, why does this bother you so much? The discussion doesn't bother me at all. I actually enjoy it. Truth is what I'm interested in. And counteracting or counter-confronting this idea that women are full-grown adults except when it comes to being accountable, except when it comes to things that are uncomfortable that they don't want to do. And in that case, we need to make all these little excuses for them, like we do little children. That doesn't bother me so much, but I'm going to speak up, and I'm at least going to speak the truth to it. And I don't really care if you or anybody else, what y'all think about it. Because, I'm Dane, and I remain.